and that our services are not disrupted. In addition to that, we continue to work with the Ministry of Health and the national governments as well in these continued efforts. So you can, as you celebrate today, feel at home, karibuni sana, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for her. Thank you so much. We feel welcome in Nairobi. Asante. Our chief guest of honor, Mr. Prime Secretary, leo asubuhi watu walikimbia, the senators read, wakubwa kwa wadogo wote. So it was fun all over. Allow me now to welcome Athletics Kenya for Marathon and Road Races Awards. It will be a brief one before I welcome our man of the morning, who has been very active.
Thank you, MC. Chief guest, Cabinet Secretary, PS President, Senators President, all members present, good morning. Once every single person has participated, it's now the humble duty to award them for the good work that they have done. And for this case, we are going to start with athletes from Wilson, those people given to, and this one we are going to request Senator Veronica Maina, together with the senators present, to have the honor and do the honor.
Zakayo. A round of applause, please. Position 4, Christine Mudel. Let's appreciate it. Position 3, Caroline Wanchira. She was the winner last year.
The senators, what did you, your cameras and solutions, then we'll get down. Yeah. Yeah, you can stand here. Then.
Position 2, Marceline Anchecho. Let's appreciate her.
This is? Okay.
Makofi, ladies and gentlemen.
And the winner, World AIDS of Marathon 10 kilometers, the year 2025, is male type 2. Let's appreciate her. A round of applause once again.
I'll go down. You pass it, yeah?
I think for cameras, we can get down so that we stand by each.
Number 5.
Number 5 to get enough for clarity.
Mary Zakayo.
Mary, I show of okay.
Let's appreciate her once again.
Senator Veronica Maina has presented her. Congratulations, Mary.
Number 4, Christine Mudeu. Let's appreciate her. She's going to represent the...
Christine is here. Congratulations. A round of applause for her.
Number 3, Caroline Wanchira, former champion.
Caroline,
let's appreciate her once again. A round of applause. Position 2, Marceline and Checho. Tumekuwa wachea makofi jameni.
Wapi makofi ya Marceline? Yeah.
And now the winner, who goes home with 100,000. Melin Tattoo.
Makofi ya number 1. Congratulations. Yeah. Okay. So
A group photo maybe?
yeah, for one group photo tusonge mbele kidogo. Yeah, group photo. Yeah. Yes. Acha tusaidie kushoto. Tusaidie.
Thank you so much, wheelchair men. Let's get ready. Position 5. Position 5.
This is for wheelchair men.
Wheelchair men. Who goes home with 20,000. Shadla Mutahi. We're requesting
Karibu.
Senator once
Tupigie
again.
makofi Shadrack tafadhali. Yes, yawe.
Senator Minor.
Yeah.
Walisema wewe mama
Makofi ya
yao.
Shadrack tafadhali. Makofi ya Shadrack.
Makofi ya Shadrack 20,000. Position 4, Daniel Mutua goes home with 30,000. Let's appreciate him. A round of applause once again.
Makofi ya Shadrack tafadhali. Number 5. He's going home with cool 20,000. Sindio?
Yes.
Okay. Number 4.
Number 4, Daniel Mutua. A round of applause as he comes.
Makofi ya Daniel tafadhali. Daniel karibu.
30,000 winner.
Daniel, congratulations. You are 40,000 richer.
Let's appreciate him once again. Number 3, Mihon Ilahuga. A round of applause. Goes home with 40,000.
Congratulations. Tumpigie makofi tafadhali.
Number 2, John Mambua, who goes home with 70,000. Let's appreciate once again.
John Wambua, congratulations.
And the winner of this year, 10 kilometers wheelchair men. Let's appreciate him once again. The winner this year, who goes home with 100,000, is none other than Dennis Ndung. He cycled in then for 10 kilometers in 42 minutes.
Tumpigie makofi tafadhali.
01 and 23. Let's appreciate him once again. A round of applause once again. Winners 10 kilometers women, let's get ready.
Winners 10 kilometers.
10 kilometers women, let's get ready. Position 10 was taken by Lecho Wanchiru. Position 9, Letitia Mayo. Diana Kipet, position 8. Ruth Wanchiku, position 7. Position 5, Malanjiri. And position 4, Ruth Wangari. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to invite, come forward, starting from position 3, because of the interest of time. And on this one,
Position 3, okay, stand by. Position 2, and then position 1. Women 10 kilometers, right?
we are requesting our Principal Secretary, Dr. Olunga. We have the honor to award these winners. Position 3, we have Monica Ngipe. Let's appreciate her. Monica.
Okay, Monica. Monica Karibia. Monica, congratulations. Position 3.
Position 3.
I know you wanakuja.
Let's appreciate her.
Daktari Ouma, karibia hapa. Karibu. So what is her prize? Ameshinda nini? Ndio hii pesa inakuja. Yeah. She is the winner of 50,000 Kenya shillings.
50,000 Kenya shillings. Let's appreciate her.
Dr. Uma is presenting the dummy check.
A round of applause as she gets the award. Position 2.
Daktari utabaki.
We are requesting
Bado.
Daktari kindly
Two more.
to
Then we release our number 3.
Lechina. Number 2, Lechina Wamboi.
Regina Wamboi.
A round of applause.
Tupige makofi tafadhali. Wapi makofi ya Regina? She is the winner of how many? How much?
70,000.
Now,
And the winner, 10 kilometers, 1 sub marathon, 2025, women category, Diana Wanza.
Congratulations, Diana. Makofi.
In a time of 32 minutes, 0.1 seconds. Let's appreciate her once again.
Tumpige makofi Diana tafadhali. Tumpige makofi. Sikia wachoyo. Congratulations, Diana. Thank you, Dr. Omo, as well. Asante sana. Appreciated. Wacha tuita wanaume sasa.
Thank you, sir. We want to call upon 10 kilometers with men, Position 3, Martin Ndungu. And we are requesting, sir, kindly, we have the honor, escorted by our CEO, acting CEO, NSDCC, have the honor to present the award to the winners of 10 kilometers. Martin Ndungu, a round of applause.
Makofi ya Martin tafadhali.
Goes home with 50,000.
He is presented by Ahmed Ibrahim Abbas, the chairperson, the National Syndemic Diseases and Control Center. Tuwapige makofi tafadhali. Wanachama utabaki, bado tuko na 2
Number 2, Alfred Kimani. Hand of applause.
Makofi Alfred, makofi Alfred.
I think backbenchers wamekaa wachoyo kwa makofi. Alfred goes home with 70,000. And the winner for today, 10 kilometers men, is none other than Edgar Kipkori.
Makofi ya number 1. Congratulations, Edgar.
Yeah, 21. Thank you so much. A round of applause once again. And now, the main event of today, 21 kilometers. I think PS was waiting to see if 21 was 10. 21 kilometers, women category. We will ask the honor of His Excellency the PCS to award the members who made us to have this day. Starting with the women category, we have Beatrice Chesere. A round of applause.
Congratulations, Beatrice. She walks home with the pesa ni ngapi?
100,000.
Karibu sana, Beatrice. Congratulations.
Once again, a round of applause as Beatrice comes in. Makofi tena. Number 2, Desira Cherono. A round of applause. She goes home with 200,000. A round of applause. Those of us who are spectating, you can imagine,
Tumpigie makofi tena.
And the winner, Evelyn Chill, goes home with 250,000. A round of applause. Evelyn Chill. A round of applause.
Tumpigie makofi, tumpigie
Makofi.
Congratulations.
Quickly we request the winners of 21 kilometers don't go far. Women and also men, you'll be taking a group photo with the chief guest later on. Sir, we are requesting that you take the men category. Number 3, Michael Kimani Kamau.
Wapi makofi ya Michael? Karibu sana Michael. Congratulations.
A round of applause.
Michael, karibia kama upo.
Michael.
Twende number 2. Bwana CEO atamwekea hiyo check.
Sia amba mchukulie check.
Hata upewe.
A round of applause in his appreciation.
Number 2.
Number 2, Matthew.
Number 3.
A round of applause. Kumaliza 21 sio kazi rahisi.
Hata kufika kwa check amekimbia.
Sasa zingine na a round of applause once again. He goes on with 100,000. Number 2, Matthew Kimeli. Matthew goes on with 200,000.
Makofi ya Matthew.
Makofi ya Matthew.
Ndio hiyo pande hii.
Matthew, kimbia mbio.
Kimbia venye ulikimbia. Au utakimbilia pesa.
A round of applause. The winner 200,000. The winner 2025 21 kilometers half marathon, World 8 half marathon is none other than Joshua Kituku. He goes home with 250,000. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the government agenda. Talanta ni hela. A round of applause. Our winners of 21 kilometers, please hurry up, come forward as we take a group photo with the chief guest. Mbio. We request our PS, our dignitaries, kindly join the Prime Cabinet Secretary, the group photos, senators.
Let them come up. Wapande juu. Kuna nafasi hapa. Sawa.
Winners, those that we have announced now, 2 minutes. Mbio, kimbia mbio. Time is not on our side. 21 kilometers, Joshua Kituku, Matthew Kimeri, Michael Kimani, men.
Wapi warembo? Wapo wawili, moja niko na moja huko nyuma. Wapi warembo?
Diana Wanza, Regina Wamboi, Monica Ngite. Ladies, the women category.
Ndio hao wanakimbia wanagia.
Kimbia mbio. Every Chiche, Desira Jerono, Beatrice Cheserek.
Let's pose for the group photo. Makofi ya champions.
Makofi ya champion. Wheelchair, join the team. Wheelchair, join the team. Carlo and Wanchira and your team. Thank you so much. Let's appreciate them.
Asante sana. So we can
thank you so much. My name is Dominic Ondeka, and it's my great pleasure to return the mic to the end of the day. Asante ni sana.
Makofi ya athletics Kenya. That has been a great morning. Our Prime Cabinet Secretary and Foreign Affairs CS, also PS Dr. Oma Uluba, I can attest, ran the 10-kilometer race, although he did not manage to outperform the gentlemen who are here. Kidogo amekwama katikati, lakini amemaliza. Also our good senators. So allow me now to welcome the acting CEO who has made us be here today. A man I can ably speak of, Bwana Prime Cabinet Secretary, competent to the core and with determination undertakes his assignments. Bwana Douglas Bosire, tuwampigie makofi tafadhali. He is why we are here today. Hapana, hiyo haijatosha. Bado haijatosha. This man comes from the great land of Omogusi. So tumpigie makofi.
It's not working. I think it's now better. Our chief guest for the day, His Excellency Honorable Dr. Wycliffe Mudavadi, who is our Prime Cabinet Secretary for this beautiful country we call Kenya, and also the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, accompanied by the entire government entourage which is here, led by our PS, our able PS I must say, Dr. Omo Oluga, and the other PSs who are here in the morning, the board of NSDCC led by Honorable Ahmed Abbas, our development partners, I can see Jaime from the UNAIDS, our partners, our colleagues, and our friends. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Mine will be very short, Your Excellency, because of time and the fact that most of these people arrived here actually at 5 a.m. today, because the first race, the 10-kilometer wheelchair race, was flagged off at exactly 6:30. The roads were closed at 5. So people had to be here early. I just want to appreciate all of you for honoring the call to mark and commemorate this day with us. Your Excellency, as they put up a short slide that I want to summarize why we're here, the essence and the context of the triple threat. I just want to remind us all that since 1988, the entire world pauses on the 1st of December to commemorate and honor the memory of those we have lost due to the AIDS-related illnesses. Your Excellency, to date, since 1984, when the first case of HIV was detected in this country, Kenya has lost slightly over 2 million lives, brothers and sisters who have gone before us, and we celebrate and honor them this day. Your Excellency, again, we have made significant progress in this response, and you are going to be launching the report. But out of all Kenyans currently, we have a cohort of about 1.35 million Kenyans who are living with the virus. Courtesy of the government, courtesy of our development partners, both bilateral and multilateral, 97% of them are currently on treatment. Life-saving treatment that ensures that their viral loads are suppressed and they can live a long and healthy life, to be productive, to see their children and to see their grandchildren. And they are represented here, and I just want to honor those communities of people living with HIV who are with us. Let them just stand up and be acknowledged by our chief guest and all of us as we applaud you. Communities of people living with HIV, please. the upstanding. Makofi, 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 makofi. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. You are the heroes and heroines of the day, and it's courtesy of you that we are here. We appreciate you and we appreciate your championship. I want the clip, not the slide, but I want the clip. Who is controlling? I want the clip. Yeah, let's play that clip.
Toka kwa usifika huko tena anaanza kunipiga. Nimekelea makofi akanipiga mateke kwa mgongo na wakati bado nasikia uchungu.
The beginning it was enforcement.
Inside the villages of Butula and Bumala in Busia County, dusty roads lead to homestead. Lush green canopy provides the background to what appears to be normal rural life. But beneath this lies a silent crisis consuming the region's most vulnerable. The triple threat, a deadly intersection of teenage pregnancy, sexual gender-based violence, and new HIV infections is wreaking havoc in many of these homesteads. For thousands of young girls here, childhood ends not with a graduation, but with a positive pregnancy test or an HIV diagnosis. Busia County is one of the counties with the highest teenage pregnancy and defilement rates in the country.
When a teenager is infected by HIV, it means she had unprotected sex. With someone who was positive.
To meet two young women whose lives have been upended by these threats. At just 17 years, Nekesa, not her real name, is already a mother. She gave birth to her baby last year who died days after birth. Motherhood for her was born out of poverty.
Nakakutana na mwanaume kwa kijana tana na yeye Saidi ya Buhari. Huko anti patana na yeye akaniambia tuende tuanze maisha. Tukaenda kwao. Mbona naye akanibeba mimba akaendelea kukaa. Then akakasirika. Then alikuwa na mwanamke mwingine. Nisokuwa najua. Akaniambia nataka uende kwenu. Nikakata umeshanipea mimba sasa hivi na niroka. Ananiambia niende nipe mambo mzigo mwingine. Hapa sitoki. Sasa bila nilikataa na akaanza kunipiga. Hapo kama ameshamaliza kunipiga, sikuwa nimejua kuna virusi. Sasa kwenda kliniki ya kwanza. Akaniambia tunipime. Kana nikapatikana niko na virusi. Nikashinda nitafanya nini?
What she thought was her way out of this biting poverty and a ticket to a better life quickly turned into a nightmare. She had walked right into the triple threat, right in a new marriage.
Kafika siku ya kujifungua, kaenda mpaka usinikapo chini, ikashindikana, kanipeleka Busia. Kanienda Busia nikapitia kifo, alianza kupitia kifo. Then mtoto alikuwa ameishiwa nguvu. Kampeleka kwa nasari. Kwanza kupeleka nasari. Juma wakuja kaniambia mtu amekufa na yuko tena. Akatoka, ndio anaendesha pikipiki kurudi. Kanipata nimepika nimekea kwa chakula. Katoka akaanza kunipiga. Kashindwa tujakosanako tangu asubuhi vile umetoka kwani shida ni nini? Akaanza kunipiga, alinipiga mpaka nikarudia hapa nyumbani kama na bleed. Then baba alikuwa anaenda huko anampata yuko.
About 20 kilometers from here, we find another girl, Josephine, not her real name. She carries a heavy burden. At just 17, she has just weaned her 6-month-old daughter. This child is a product of defilement. A religious leader, brought home by her family to pray for them, turned into a predator.
Shangazi yangu alikuwa huko Nairobi. Sasa wakutana na yeye na wakaelewana. Kuna mmoja mbili anafaa kuja kufanya pa kwao. Ndio vile alikuja, ndio vile tulikutana na yeye.
tukakuwa in relationship, but ilianza the beginning it was enforcement. Sasa kuja kukataa na akanitishia. Sasa alinitishia, sikabidi pia nikogopa kwa aliniambia nisiambie wazazi anything. Sasa nikakuja nikaogopa. Akaniambia tuende naye Nairobi, sikabidi niende. Kwa sababu nilikuwa wazazi walikuwa shaniuliza kenye naendelea, nikamficha kwa sababu kulingana na vile alinitishia. Kurudi mamangu akanipeleka hosi kupimwa na nikapatikana kwamba niko na virusi na ujauzito.
That pregnancy came with even more bad news.
Baada ya hapo tukakuja tukaishi, tukakaa, tukapitia magonjwa, nilikuwa na shida ya magonjwa kila saa. Mpaka nikafika nikawa nimezaa mtoto.
She is back home, a child, nursing a child. Her life has taken a trajectory she did not expect, but she is hopeful that the tide will turn soon.
Tangu nikutana na Mudavadi, tukapatikana kwamba niko na ujauzito. Naona maisha yangu kama imenidimia kwa sababu sijafikisha kile ambacho nilikuwa nataka nifikishe kwa maisha ili nisaidie wazazi wangu. Kasi singepatikana na kijana, sasa singekuwa na ugonjwa. Sasa nimepatikana hiyo na ugonjwa, hakuna penye naweza nikaenda, kuna mwanaume mwingine mwenye anaweza kanitaka tena. Sasa kwa hiyo kwa mambo yote naachia tu Mungu. Mungu mwenyewe anajua zote.
Mary Makoha, the director of the Rural Education and Economic Empowerment Program, has seen many such cases here in Busia County. Poverty in this area is the main driver of these conditions, she says. A change in the approach of handling such cases, as well as a reform in the cultural and societal norms, could tilt the scale in favor of the young girls here.
Busia is very bad in all the threats. Today, the young people who are HIV positive, maybe out of fear or whatever, you get like they are not adhering to medication. You get they are not even protecting themselves, like condom use and such things. They just live normally. Get pregnant, what, without taking the precautions. So it is a real threat. Yeah. And the fact that HIV is affecting young people more, for me, it really worries me, because this is the future.
All right, thank you very much. Your Excellency, I think standing up here, I saw sad faces. Everybody was really touched by this story. This clip was recorded less than 72 hours ago in Busia County. So it's not history. It's not stories ajaba, it's the reality. Your Excellency, about a month or so ago, we went to the Kenya Women's Association to Busia County, led by the chairperson, Madam Honorable Veronica Maina. And that is why we promised to go back again, and we went back the day on Friday, just to bring those stories so that everybody can witness and can basically get to see what our young people are going through. Busia is not isolated. In fact, it's not the leading in terms of the overlapping challenge of the triple threat. There are counties, all the 47 counties are affected. Your Excellency, in the year 2024, this country recorded 19,991 new HIV infections. Out of those, about 15,400 were adult 15 plus. Among those which were 15 plus, 41% occurred among adolescents and young children aged between 15 and 24 years. 41%, almost half. Bearing in mind that the Kenyan population is 59% below 24 years. If you expand that bracket, 75% of the adult new infections that occurred in 2024 were among adolescents and young people aged between 15 and 34 years, 75%. And this is the population that is supposed to grow up economically active, they're supposed to be educated, to take over the leadership and development of this country. That is why, about 4 or 5 years ago, Your Excellency, we came together in a whole of society, all of government approach. Both the Ministry of Health, us as NSDCC, with my brother here, Dr. Mula from NASCOP. We talked to National Council of Population and Development because they are charged with the responsibility of ending adolescent pregnancies. With the State Department for Gender, which is represented here, they are charged with the responsibility of ending GBV and including SGBV. We came together and called upon partners. We called upon ministries and line development and implementing partners and other stakeholders and actors. And we coined the term, the triple threat that is challenging the health and well-being of our young people. The triple threat of new HIV infections, mistimed pregnancies, and sexual and gender-based violence. That is why we have this acronym today, and the triple threat. And that is the reason why we have focused and paid attention to this in this year's commemoration, so that we can have a future of our country and we can assure these young people whom the Constitution has demanded of us to protect. With those few remarks, kindly allow me to hand over the program to Dr. Patrick Amoth, who is the Director General for Health, to take over from here. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Thank you, Douglas. Our chief guest for today, Your Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, PA State Department of Medical Services, PA State Department of Children Welfare Services, Honorable Senators, the Chair of the Board of NDSCC and your CEO, colleagues from the Ministry of Health, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let's now shift gears towards a few speeches by critical stakeholders. You know, as a government, we cannot be able to undertake this onerous duty alone. That is why we have come today as a whole of society, not only to tackle the challenges, but also to appreciate the critical milestones that you have made. Civil society plays a critical role in terms of advocacy at the grassroots level, but also keeping us in check in terms of the programmatic interventions we make so that we can be able to change the narrative. I want to call upon Mr. Jackson Chilo, the chairperson of Network of People Living with HIV, NEFAC, to come forward and share his reflections.
Thank you, Director. The Prime Cabinet Secretary of Kenya, the PS Health, all protocol observed. I stand before you here as the National Chair of NEFAC, where NEFAC means National Empowerment of People Living with HIV/AIDS. So my first request would to ask you, colleagues, to help us stand up for just 1 minute to remember those that we lost due to this scourge. Just 1 minute, please. Thank you, can sit. As we assemble here to commemorate the World AIDS Day, it's a time that we look at how do we stop disruptions and transform HIV's service delivery to our people so that we ensure that we sustain the response that we had. And on that note, as a community of people living with HIV, this year we experienced a lot of disruptions due to the stop-work order of the United States of America. But on that note, we also received some milestones through the Department of NASCOP. 4 things that we appreciate that NASCOP has done. 1, they have expanded the eligibility criteria for TAF LD for people living with HIV/AIDS. 2, They have rolled out better drugs for our children that are palatable and are not the drug that we used the previous times. 3, they have enhanced on DSD, whereby we are having different forms of service delivery like community pharmacy. We also have community RT groups, and also we have deliveries from other partners that are working with us. But more importantly, they have also enhanced multi-drug dispensing at our facilities. Now we have a few challenges here. The first challenge is that due to the stop work order, the government of Kenya tried to at least look at how best to ensure that PLHV do not stop having services, and in that note they introduced integration. Integration has come with its challenges. It depends on how each county takes it, but the biggest approach that we have is that, one, human resource. Most of HIV services have been done by partners. So the human resource that we have are limited. 2, the capacity that they have. Most of the healthcare workers that used to serve us were from partners. So the ones that the county government have may not have the right capacity, or what we call to make sure that they don't disclose the other people's status. So 3, every county takes their own aspect on integration. So to others, they think that integration means closing CCCs and then taking people to outpatients. The other aspect is that it has come with user fees, especially those accessing services at level 4, 5, and 6, where when you go, you cannot have laboratory services without being asked to pay user fees. The other part that I will ask my dear brother Moth is on SHA. We as PLHV, we have a very big problem with SHA, especially on one laboratory test. And we are requesting him to liaise with NASCOP so that we have a minimum package where HIV is also included, so that people who go to facilities do not fail to get the right services. Because as we stand now, the emerging thing that is killing people with HIV is NCDs. You'll get people are virally suppressed, but still we are losing people because of NCDs. Lastly, and not least, is to request the government of Kenya and the county government to ensure community engagement in all the programs that they are doing. Because I believe that we have a pool of PLHV who can work as peer mentors, mentor mothers, and adherence counselors to help their peers in accessing services. So lastly, just make sure that we have a working relationship like we are doing with the NSDCC to make sure that everything that we do from planning, execution, and to the end, PLHV people are also involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jackson, for highlighting the progress we have made, but also the challenges that still stand out that we need to work collectively together to address. Regarding the one specifically about SHA, you know there's the benefits package tariffs advisory panel that was constituted by the Honorable Cabinet Secretary for Health and is reviewing the benefit package to ensure integration of all these other services. The PS will be able to make a comment on the health workforce as the authorized officer. Honorable Prime Cabinet Secretary, you cannot be able to do this work alone. Implementing partners play a critical role in supporting the work that is done in the public health ecosystem. I want to call upon Dr. kenyanYoutuber, who is one of our key implementing partners, a critical player, critical supporter of even today's event, to be able to share his remarks with us. Dr. kenyanYoutuber.
Thank you. Thanks. Chief guest, Honorable Mudavadi, PS is present here, members of Parliament, Cabinet Secretaries, and members of the Senate, my colleagues as healthcare workers, fellow human beings who are here, because we are first human and then all the other things comes in. I take these few minutes to just thank the government of Kenya, the Ministry of Health, NSDCC and the other departments, including NASCO, for the excellent work we have done so far. The year 2025 started for us, all of us who work in this space, with the red flags. We were all shocked, the work stopped order, and we are scared. But I can say we have seen a silver lining. The silver lining is the resilience of the Kenyan spirit that we have within. We did not cow down. Our heads were blooded, but they were unbowed. Because we said we're going to take this one as an opportunity to use our own resources to make sure that our people are taken care of. That's a great idea. I really appreciate what the county government response was. While it is varied and the response was different, I really appreciate that they took over and ensured that our people's treatment remains provided throughout. One of the key challenges that we have continued to face, I'd like to mention them. There are three main key challenges. Number one, I say that we did a good job, but we did a bad job in communication. If you ask many people, what is the HIV services integration, they will not tell you. A lot of them only cite the negative things. They don't even appreciate the good thing. First of all, to me, HIV integration is an opportunity, is a good opportunity. First, to kill stigma. Because separation, where that's HIV clinics there, everybody going there knows that I've already been forced to disclose my status. But if you are queuing as a chronic care clinic, you wouldn't know why I'm here. I can actually say maybe it's gout, maybe it's my DM, maybe it's my hypertension. You wouldn't know. So we can kill the stigma, but we need to improve on our communication. The other thing our request is as implementing partners is also for a guideline from the national government that can help the counties to standardize the care that they are giving to our people. Finally, I'd like to say about today's event when it comes to providing services for our people. The agenda for local manufacture. I think if there's a time that has come for it, it is now. So that we do not have to wait for drugs to come from across the borders, from over the seas, when our people are waiting. We all know what happened during COVID time, and the people who are manufacturing vaccines say we have to meet the needs of our people first. And I really like the Kenyan Kwanza slogan, which is Kenya Kwanza. I think the US may have borrowed that aspect from us because they say it, America first. I think it's the English version of Kenya Kwanza. So I think we also need to get this one going in each of our implementation. The young people, we keep saying you are the future. You know the future. You are the life today. Because without you, there is no tomorrow. And that I'm very happy to be part of this team that created this World Events Day theme that focuses on the young people. Because the young people is the strength of this country. As AHF Kenya, besides doing HIV prevention, testing, and treatment in 14 counties in this country, we also launched 3 new interventions. One, a mentorship program for girls, we call the Girls Act. And then we have a new one, because the boys have been forgotten. It's called the Boys to Men. It's a mentorship program for boys. And the final one is an STI program for mainly in Nairobi County. And we are offering the services free of treatment. And we are doing testing, lab testing, and treatment 100% free. God bless you and be healthy. Asante.
Thank you, Dr. Kenyanjui, and thanks for that support. We know the financing landscape has changed and has changed for good. A lot of our interventions will require to domestically resource mobilize to ensure the protection of our population. He's thrown a challenge to us, Dr. Mulwa, regarding the development of our integration guideline, which will ensure that there's uniformity in service delivery, reproducibility of the results, and I think we need to pick that up so that we can be able to give guidance. Allow me at this juncture to call upon the Director of Equity at UNAIDS, Jaime Ascona, to be able to share his reflections from the global community. Karibu.
distinguished chief guests, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, Principal Secretary Ouma Olunga, and all government authorities, civil society partners, and others. On behalf of UNAIDS and the UN Joint Team on HIV and AIDS, I'm honored to join you, and I want to remind that we are commemorating this World AIDS Day with two powerful themes. Globally, overcoming disruption, transforming the AIDS response, and in Kenya with this one race, one goal, ending AIDS among adolescents and young people. But we need to remember two things. Despite all the progress we have had, we are also facing challenges. 1.3 million people acquired HIV last year, and 9 million still lack treatment. There are signs of hope though, and I think Kenya is showing them with the resilience and partnership that it inspired us. You are leading the journey to HIV integration and sustainability with communities stepping up. Youth-led initiatives are empowering young women to protect themselves and their futures, and people living with HIV leading, innovating, and refusing to be left behind. Let me just finish by calling to action to remain and strengthen the HIV response by mobilizing domestic resources, championing human rights, scaling up and securing affordable and accessible innovation from long-acting prevention to digital health solutions, addressing structural barriers, as is said today, teenage pregnancies, gender-based violence, and harmful social norms, and strengthening community-led initiatives because they are our anchor towards the finishing lines. UNAIDS remains committed with the people of Kenya, with the government of Kenya, with you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jaime. We appreciate the technical and financial support from UNAIDS that makes our programs more responsive to the needs of our people. Allow me at this juncture to introduce the Chair of the Board of Directors of the National Endemic Disease Control Council, Mr. Ahmed Abbas, to be able to also share his thoughts with us.
Good afternoon, His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary and CS for Foreign Affairs, PS Health, the board and the staff of the NSNDC, communities living with HIV, our development partners. Good afternoon. Good afternoon again. Your Excellency, a lot of progress has been made since HIV was first discovered in this country in the year '84. We are far away from where we were, but a lot needs to be done still, particularly our young people. Vijana, mulisikia the three threats. Na hiyo yote, the three threats, they're all around there. The young people, see, people your age, hapa ndio kwa shida Kenya. Ni kama wazee wameogopa, everybody else is scared, but something needs to be done about your team. Please, I think there's a need for a change of behavior and attitude by our young people. Raha ya siku moja isiweke shida. And if you must do something, please, protect yourself. Wasichana, msidanganywe ati kama hajakuja na hiyo kitu a few hours, won't do you know any harm at all, eh? So at NSDC, our mandate is to coordinate a whole of government and a whole of society response against HIV and other endemics. We will continue to work with both counties, civil society, religious institutions, our partners, and most importantly, our communities, to ensure that no adolescent, no young woman, no young man is left behind. Finally, I wish to sincerely acknowledge our partners for the general support, financial, technical, and logistical, which has made this event possible. Your dedication shows what's possible when we work together, and run together. Finally, I want to thank the board and the staff of the NSDC for organizing such a wonderful event. Please clap for yourself. Everybody have come here, noted how everything was well organized from the morning, the marathon, from the starting point to the route and how it ended. And finally, Your Excellency, I'm sure you are aware there have been a dwindling support from our partners in regards to the funding for HIV-related activities. But appears, so Kisike NSDCC, if we ask for something, tafadhali, you know we're dealing with life matters, people's life. Tafadhali weka tu kidole. Bosira kikuletea, hata hapana uliza. Your Excellency, if we hear something ourselves coming to the ministry at the cabinet or at the cabinet committee, tafadhali, because we deal with life, human life matters, that our actions per day can either make life or death. So if we are seeing, if you see us insisting on a particular amount of money, tafadhalini, government can cut on any other things. If you are told to rationalize for your ministry and your state department, kata mali ngine yote lakini NSDC wachana nayo. Kama hutaongeza wachana nayo. With those few remarks, asanteni sana.
Thank you, Chair. I think Chair has done his job very well, because one of his roles is to be able to resource mobilize and ensure protection of the resources allocated to the state corporation. At this juncture, I want to call upon the Chair of Kenya Women Senators Association, because lawmaking is critical, resource allocation also falls within our lawmaking structure, and therefore senators who are here under the leadership of the Chair of Kenya Women Senators Association, Senator Veronica Maina, you have the floor, please.
Wakenya hoye! Kwani mmechoka sana? My name is Senator Veronica Maina, Chair Kenya Women Senators, and before I address you PCS together with all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to request my colleague senators to be upstanding, and reading the mood in the room, I will ask them to wave at the people. We have Senator Kade Muma at the right end, followed by Senator Betiengo in the center, and our Gen Z youthful senator, Senator Esi Okenyuri. Asante sana. Allow me to ride on established protocols, Honorable PCS, because time is far gone. And I want to take this opportunity to sincerely thank NSDCC for the great partnership that they have given to Kenya Women Senators and to the Senate. Let me thank them today, because this is one of the events which has the best programs I have attended in relation to young people. Let me thank you for hacking it on communication, because it doesn't look like you actually set this program. It was set by the Gen Z. There was a lot of music, the language they understand, and we have enjoyed the day. Today there was a race to be ran, and we have run it. One race, one goal. We ran one race, and Kewosa is determined to support this initiative. Why? Because one of the reasons why women empowerment and gender empowerment has been hampered is because of issues like what you're seeing in the triple threat: early teens pregnancy, SGBV, and early HIV infections. And it's very well known, HIV and AIDS infections affect women disproportionately, and women really take the brunt of this scourge. Let me take this opportunity to say that Kewosa will walk the journey with you. We invited you during Senate Mashinani, we invited NSDCC to go with us to Busia, and we did a whole program there, and we are grateful for the work we did in Busia, having some of the highest teens pregnancies in the country. And when Governor Lusaka saw the program, he invited us to Bungoma, and we called you, and you came. Can you give it up for NSDCC? It's in touch with the people, and it's doing the right thing to make sure they sensitize Kenyans about the HIV status. PCS, we do have a problem. You know, in Africa, and Kenya being in Africa, sex is not discussed openly because there are issues that culture holds back when it comes to sex education. Maybe a time has come for the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health, NSDCC, Parliament, legislature, all actors, executive, to come together with the parents and the teachers, to discuss what should we have as sex education, so that if we have to eliminate this threat by 2030, we must do things in a way that we have not done them before. Even if that sex education will have to be approved by the church, because what has happened now, PCS, is that the social media has preceded the parent in guidance on matters sex. The social media is the one that is now teaching the parents and giving the first lesson on who is a boy and who is a girl. Time has come for us to come round the table. Even if it means it's Bishop Muheria who will do that program. Let's have an acceptable program for sex education so that from a young age, we are able to tell our children who they are, to affirm their identity, and to avoid the confusion of what we are seeing in identity, in gender identity, sex identity, and even in identity as personalities. All stakeholders must come together as Parliament. We undertake a Senate. We are ready and waiting for the curriculum you will agree on, and we are going to endorse it, agreed by every stakeholder. One final thing I would want to say is that when we were in Bungoma, in Mount Elgon, as we did the engagement with the community, we sought to know what was the problem and why were young girls, why were old men sleeping with young girls who are in school and making them pregnant. And one of the things we learned was that there was parental neglect. Another issue that we have to check as parents. Maybe on another day we can engage more and look at all the factors. We ask the students to write for us small papers, not to write their names, but to tell us what is it that they want to communicate to us about the issues we had discussed on teens pregnancy, SGBV, and HIV infections. You do not want to see what is in those papers, because we assured them the teachers were not reading those papers, but we found that even within the domestic setting, the first risk comes within the people who live around the victims. So you have to check who is around your child, who are they communicating with, who are you inviting to your homes to live there. And Honorable PCS will have to have a candid conversation if we have to achieve the one goal that we are looking at, to end HIV by 2030. Finally, to those who are affected by HIV or who are living within the status, with the HIV status, HIV and AIDS status, I want to assure you that today, in this day and time, treatment is there. You don't have to die for AIDS. As you pray for help and you pray for God to touch you, just know that if you approach the Ministry of Health, the hospitals, all these stakeholders who have been announced here, you don't have to die from HIV. Doctors, you tell us now today that there is one tablet. It is not a host of those many tablets that we had before. I hear there is now one tablet, and I believe we should have that education about HIV. And 2 days ago, as I went up, I was doing my normal medical test for the ear, and the doctor asked me, do you want to do a HIV test? So 3 days ago, I subjected myself to the testing for HIV status. So why don't you test so that you can be careful and you can take care of your neighbor? So when you live here, if you do not know your status, please make sure you talk to doctor. Even Dr. Luga is here, he will guide you. Talk to the doctors and do your test. Take care of yourself, take care of your neighbors. Stay safe. God bless you. Veronica Maina.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I think it's true we need to have that conversation about comprehensive sexuality education countries that have gone that direction have reaped significant dividends. And it's a high time as a people of Kenya, we come to a table for that honest discussion. At this juncture, allow me to invite the Principal Secretary, State Department of Medical Services, to be able to take over the rest of the program. Karibu PS.
Excellency Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Dr. Mudavadi. As you can see, sir, I'm limping, and I am really thinking on this return on investment for running this morning, because I was very happy that I was given a medal for completing 10 kilometers. Then I realized everyone was being given a medal. So I think NSDCC was trying to play with my mind, but my leg is hurting. Next time, sir, before just coming for any marathon, I will think twice. But I want to thank you so much, sir, for gracing this occasion and for being very kind with us, with the time, and also with our young people. We value your leadership, and as you know, sir, we are at a very critical juncture in the response to HIV and AIDS at this point in our country. We've made a lot of progress. We celebrate that progress, but we also have challenges that we need to tackle. Key among them is the new infections in young people, and has already been told by the linkage to gender-based violence and also the linkage to teenage or unwanted pregnancies. And that three form a big assignment for the government, and we are working on it, sir. From the State Department Medical Services, we are very keen to support all our institutions. Chairman, we always work to support NSDCC. NASCOP is also our institution. All the hospitals that were here, I can see the CEO of Jaramogi. I can stand and wave to people. Yes, and also the CEO of Kenyatta National Hospital is also here. And we work together as one team to make sure that our HIV response is comprehensive. Sir, I do not have much to say. I just wanted to note, sir, that I am a physician, and I have been very privileged to work in a comprehensive care center. And I used to work in Vihiga, sir, and I took quite a bit of time there. And I was the doctor who was in charge of the clinic, the comprehensive care clinic. And on Friday, I gave a story about where we have come from, because that time I was a medical doctor. There was a young girl, 8 years old, who had come before me. She was quite wasted, was looking younger and less weight for her age. And she was frail and really sick, had some fever and also convulsions. I gave this story because this story really anchors how we approach response. So this young girl, sir, was living with her grandmother, and she was coming from around one of the villages in Vihiga. And so when she came by herself. She was not accompanied. And when I was attending to her, you know, you start to ask questions. You realize that she's a very brave girl and she can answer some questions, but you know, at 8 years of age, you can't answer all the questions. And then she told me that her grandmother had sent her to pick medicines. And so, you know, the decision we wanted to make that morning was to admit her because she was really sick. But now, for children, the decision has to be made by an adult who is not there, and we are the doctor. So I had to call the social worker, then get to the chief, and then later we got the grandmother. And the first reaction when such a grandmother comes to the hospital, sometimes for us as health workers, I'm not saying I'm one of them, is to start quarreling them, ask them, why do you let such a young girl come to hospital alone, and then it becomes a different story. But I listened to the lady, the grandmother, and she told me that the parents for this young girl had passed on. There were 3 of them in the family, and she was living with 8 of her grandchildren. And that morning, she had gone to work in a farm so that she could get food to feed all the grandchildren. And it gives you the socio-economic context within which we have to deliver healthcare services. But it also tells us a story, because when I attended to her, admitted her, and then later, of course, she got well. Because of the infection she had, which we call meningitis, she started convulsing. So she has to go see a doctor for children, called a pediatrician, because she has to go to that clinic. And then she has to come again and see me in this clinic for HIV. So she has to ask clinic twice. For somebody who could not even attend the HIV clinic once, then now we have to split, and then she has to go pick the medicines for convulsion, and then go again pick the medicines for HIV. And this is an 8-year-old whose grandmother does not even understand the circumstances, and it's the challenges that we've had. And in that time, sir, we developed a small program to integrate, and so because of her and some other people, we decided to combine the clinic. But it was luck, because at least I was the doctor who had seen, and so we could combine those clinics. This is what actually we are talking about in terms of integration, to make sure that we make it lighter for everyone who is living with HIV, to make it lighter on the socio-economic burden, the things that families have to go through to decide on care, whether to take somebody for hypertension treatment or to take somebody for HIV treatment. And sir, this is really what we are doing right now, called integration and consolidation. And for me, I am extremely grateful to His Excellency the President for having appointed me to this position. And one of the things I tell our staff, there are very many people who get jobs, but there are very few people who get the jobs they love. But more importantly for me is to put all of that context together as we design our new HIV responses, to make sure it works for the person who does not know anyone, who is not in this room, who will not watch TV today, who can't tweet, who does not even know Irene, because today they were so busy going to look for food, and to make sure that our government responses are felt by the people. And so that's the assurance we want to give you, that this is what we are doing in the State Department for Medical Services. And so with those very many remarks, I want to just call my colleague PS for Children Affairs, just to say hello, and then, okay, I think, do you want to say something, please? Yes, PS for Children Affairs, Madam Karen Agengo, just to address us briefly.
Thank you, Chief Guest, Prime Cabinet Secretary, and the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, my colleague, PS Dr. Oluga, our senators present, all the dignitaries, good afternoon. Mine is to briefly say that when I listen to the speeches, it correlates with what we get as the State Department for Children's Services. One key issue that we are getting in the report about children is parental neglect, and we are receiving cases of about 70% of all cases reported about children are issues of parental neglect. The second is about children in conflict with the law. We are getting over 70% of cases of young children between 12 years and 17 years being in conflict with the law, and one major reason is that these children are being charged for defilement. And so when I look at new cases of HIV infection among the young people from 14 years to about 24, then it correlates with what we are getting at the State Department of Children. The reason is that our children are interacting with each other. We have children getting children. So we have boy, girl, ending up having children. And Chief Guest, this is the main reason why we are having these high cases of HIV infection. And so I want to agree with Senator Veronica that we need to go deep and educate our children, because the new cases are coming out of our children. And so we need to do something, and so a lot of awareness needs to happen among the young population for us to reduce the new infections. Chief Guest, that is what I wanted to pass the message across, that we need to work as a team, our senators, our members of parliament, and the whole of government to focus on the young people in schools for us to be able to reduce the new infections. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Thank you, PS and His Excellency. As we invite you, we'd like to request that a short video that you have advised us, it's good to have wisdom and to have been in leadership for quite some time, because His Excellency has advised that we can observe this. It's just a very short clip. Thank you so much, His Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary wanted to remind us that the past is not past. And on such a day as today, we have to remember where we have come from, and we have to work hard never to go back there. Your Excellency, now I request that we all be upstanding as we invite you to make
our children Our chief address your people. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, senators. Good afternoon, my fellow public officers. Good afternoon, all the good people in this podium. Hamujambo. Asante. I will first read the statement by His Excellency the President. He was destined to be the chief guest, but he had to handle some other matters, and he asked me to come and represent him. So I will make his speech first, and then I'll take 2 minutes towards the end to say one or two things. Good afternoon, all of you. I am honored to join you on this special day as we come together to mark and commemorate World AIDS Day 2025. The significance of this day is underscored by the profound impact that HIV and AIDS have had on humanity across the globe. For more than 4 decades, this epidemic has tested our resilience, compassion, and collective will to protect and preserve life. As a nation, we recognize the urgency to stem new HIV infections, particularly among the adolescents and young people. This year's theme, One Race, One Goal, End AIDS in adolescents and young people, is both timely and compelling. It serves as a call to action for Kenya to confront the persistent high rates of new infections within this demographic, even as we reaffirm our national and global commitment in ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. At a time when our nation stands on the threshold of transformational growth and opportunity, we are blessed with a vibrant, talented, and determined youth population, the true drivers of our country's development agenda. Yet the twin challenges of HIV and AIDS, coupled with rising teenage pregnancies, continue to weigh heavily on this vital segment of our population, threatening to rob our nation of its greatest promise, the energy and potential of our young people. Fellow countrymen, HIV and AIDS remains one of the world's most significant public health challenges, particularly in low and middle income countries, including Kenya. The fact that it hits hard at the most vulnerable members of the society, the poor, the marginalized, and women and children who bear most of the burden of the epidemic, makes the situation even trickier. Today, it is estimated that more than 33 million people in the world are living with HIV. Of these, more than 22 million live in Africa, with approximately 3,200 people dying every day from AIDS-related illnesses. Furthermore, AIDS is the leading cause of death among adolescents in Africa and the second highest cause of death among adolescents globally, according to the WHO report of 2014. It is worth noting that adolescents are the only age group where deaths due to AIDS are not decreasing. In Kenya, I am glad to note that the over 4 decades of relentless management of a pandemic that threatened the very fabric of our society has not only presented valuable lessons, but has also made us resilient to face similar challenges as they actively emerge. We are better prepared now than ever before to ensure that we do not lose the gains made in the response this far. Our national trajectory is positive, placing Kenya ahead of her peers in the region on matters HIV and AIDS. In this regard, I wish to congratulate our researchers, policy experts, programmers, and the entire spectrum of multi-sector synergy that is behind these results. As a result, Kenya occupies a space in the global arena, all for good reasons. Today, Kenya is not only a preferred destination for learning missions, but also a perfect ground for designing and launching of global HIV programs, as we have witnessed in the recent years. Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak, we have a total of 336 people living with HIV amongst us, basically 1.4 million people. Every year, Kenya requires 30 billion Kenya shillings to procure commodities for the prevention and management of HIV. As at 2024, 87% of people living with HIV were on the life-prolonging antiretroviral treatment, ART, with a PMTC coverage of 90.1%. This has had a direct effect as people are now living longer and with the virus, while HIV-positive mothers are able to deliver HIV-free babies, courtesy of technological innovations. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to assure you of the commitment of the Kenya government to ensuring access to comprehensive prevention, care, and treatment services to all. The government has worked with different development partners and stakeholders to reduce the burden of treatment by providing antiretroviral drugs to eligible persons living with HIV. Though the cost of HIV treatment has substantially reduced, many people still lack access to the life-saving drugs. The government is doing its best to ensure that access to antiretroviral treatment is enhanced. This is part of our commitment to the global target in meeting and reducing the number of HIV cases. In this regard, we have put in place mechanisms to ensure that we acquire and roll out the latest care and treatment technologies, including injectable ART, beginning next year. This is expected to ease the pill burden that is associated with oral ART, with the accrued benefit of enhanced treatment adherence. It goes without saying, the health of a labor force underpins sustainable socioeconomic development. In recognition of this fact, we as a government have prioritized investment in the health of our people through critical interventions. Indeed, reflecting on these interventions, much progress has been made every year. Infant mortality has reduced significantly, and our people are enjoying longer, healthier lives. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last few years, my government has stayed true to its commitment to the universal health coverage agenda and has ensured that we continue to provide 100% universal health coverage for essential health services, thereby guaranteeing quality and affordable health care to all Kenyans. This is through the social health insurance coverage that brings hope to Kenyan households. We are alive to the fact that health services, if not well planned, tend to drain family resources. It is for this reason that we continue to enhance the SHI package of services to include non-communicable diseases to bring relief to the citizens. My administration will continue to ensure greater access to quality and affordable health care for all Kenyans in the spirit of the Kenyan Constitution. Fellow Kenyans, unless we mitigate its effects, HIV and AIDS will continue to have a wide socioeconomic impact that threatens development, progress in Kenya. This is particularly so because it affects the most productive and energetic, people aged between 15 and 49 years. Employees, both in the public and private sector, are affected. In view of this, the Kenya government, through the National Syndemic Diseases Control Council has developed strategies and facilitated the right environment that allows multi-sectoral interventions and promotes public-private partnerships in addressing HIV and other endemic diseases. This has enabled all the actors to mobilize resources both internally and externally for implementing HIV and AIDS prevention activities. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the partners and stakeholders from Kenya and the other countries represented here for their commitment to the aspirations of our nation and the vision of establishing a safe society where every adolescent can be accounted for. As a country, our target is to end AIDS in adolescents and teenage pregnancy as a proxy indicator to new HIV indications. This is in line with the campaign dubbed #End the Triple Threat. Teenage pregnancies are a proxy indicator of instances of sexual violence, a risk factor for HIV acquisition and fuels inequalities. Girls who complete secondary school education have lower vulnerabilities than HIV. Teenage pregnancies impact the continuation of education for adolescent girls with negative effects on our efforts for 100% transition. Further, the high incidences of teenage pregnancies pose a significant challenge for socio-economic development. Teenage mothers are vulnerable to poor health outcomes, such as the risks of premature birth, low birth weight, and prenatal death, and the acquisition of HIV and other sexually transmitted infections. Teenage mothers diagnosed with HIV have to cope with the mistimed pregnancy, HIV diagnosis, and initiation into lifetime treatment during antenatal care. Adolescent mothers living with HIV also have poor outcomes within the prevention of the mother-to-child transmission continuum of services. In recent times, there has been a decrease in donor funding in supporting the fight against HIV due to the constantly changing global economic landscape. In this regard, I would like to urge all stakeholders to come together and help us achieve this goal in reducing the number of infections of HIV virus and more so teenage pregnancies. In order to achieve these targets, there is need for strategic investments that involve all stakeholders, both from the national and the grassroots levels. Ladies and gentlemen, despite challenges that continue to dog the HIV response, the Kenya government, on its part, has continued to focus on fighting HIV and AIDS. Kenya is credited among African countries like South Africa, Swaziland, and Zambia that have made remarkable progress towards universal access to ARVs that now stands at a coverage of 87.09%. It is also worth noting that there are more sophisticated treatment regimens now available to prevent the transmission of HIV. In this regard, I wish to recognize our able health personnel for resilience to ensure HIV and AIDS service continuity amidst emerging disease areas. Let us not lower our guard, but jealously protect the gains registered thus far. Sports activities, and in particular athletics, hold a special place in our national heritage as it symbolizes national pride, upholding the country's long-standing excellence in long-distance races. The successful execution of the marathon races yesterday, in fact it's today, as an anchor of sporting activity to mark this year's World's Day commemoration was indeed timely, as it served to rally the country towards ending this epidemic. The fact that Kenyans stand up in large numbers, men and women, old and young, for the race is a clear manifestation of our resolve as a country to accelerate our efforts towards the finishing line in ending AIDS as a public health threat in a timely manner. I urge all stakeholders to sustain public education and advocacy as a necessary strategy and tool to tackle HIV and AIDS and ensure a safe society where our adolescents and young people can grow to realize their dreams. In conclusion, I would like to ask all stakeholders to play their respective roles and continue the relentless war against HIV and AIDS, infections among youth and adolescents. Again, I would like to thank the National Syndemic Disease Control Council and other stakeholders for organizing and hosting us on this special day. With these few remarks, I wish you all the best. Thank you. Asanteni sana. Now that was the President's statement, and if I listened to myself reading it, I think he put a lot of emphasis on the teenage pregnancies. Again, I think several paragraphs are dedicated to that. Basically, he's saying what Madam P.S. was saying and what you have all said, that no children with children. I think that is his solid message. No children with children. Now, I sat here and the PS was worried that I was going to leave early, and I said, this is such an important occasion. I'll have to sit through it so that we cover what needs to be covered. I don't think there would be something more important for me today beyond seeing through what you had planned up to now. This is a big challenge. We cannot afford to let it go because the resurgence is worrying, the resurgence is aggressive, and the resurgence needs to be checked before it finishes our young generation. The data that we have had from 16,000, I think 3 years or so ago, to 19,000 young, almost 20,000 cases. It was 19,900 and something new cases of the young perishing because of the resurgence of AIDS is something for us to worry about and to reflect. Now, I requested that what was on the screen because Kenya recorded its first case in 1984. And the gentleman who was singing died in 1989. He was a Ugandan. Maybe the older ones may remember. But I was a young man, and this was during the early stages of that, the disease ravaging people. And for those of you who don't know Philly Lutaya, he was a great musician who then moved from Uganda, went to Sweden, and he was performing and his songs were becoming hits just the way it was indicated at the very last end. You'll see, I think when it comes to the end, if they can just pause there, he was singing, and those candles were being lit both in Sweden and in Uganda as he was singing his last song before he died of HIV and AIDS himself. A top-notch celebrity, world class, but then taken away by AIDS. So when we were sitting there, I just remembered many years ago there was this, let me try and look for it, found it, I requested, thank you for bringing it out. Because if we don't let people see some of these things, just the way we saw the video in Busia, then they may not believe you. They may think it's a joke. It's painful. It's never intentional. That is, the contracting of the disease is never intentional. You just find you've been caught up. So it is real. We need to talk to our young people. We need to be courageous, the way you said. If we don't inculcate it now, integrate it in our educational processes, we are only living in denial. We should not live in denial on this matter. It is real. And there are other celebrities. This may be one. And I chose because it's just next door in Uganda. But there are other celebrities. People who have made their mark in the Hollywood of this world. Some of you, if you go back into history, you'll come across great actors like Rock Hudson. If you go back and you'll find that this was literally somebody with a body like that of Schwarzenegger. But by the time he was going, people could not recognize that that was the great actor called Rock Hudson. This gentleman who sang was very well built, very strong, very agile. You will see many of his clips performing either in Sweden or in other places, running with a lot of strength onto the podium. But towards the end, he had been rendered completely immobile by this devastating disease. So I thought it's important, especially for the younger people. Go and Google him, listen to his music, know his story. Born in 1951, died in 1989 at the age of 38. His career as a celebrity, as a great musician, was terminated. So I'm talking to the young people in particular that let's not go too far. Let's just look within our midst. And you'll find that this disease knows no boundaries, knows no status. It clears everybody. In fact, as much as we may speak in our speeches as hitting the poorer communities or the less endowed communities more devastatingly, don't be cheated. Even the well-to-do, even the well-to-do, even the wealthy are not spared. So it is not a disease that affects the poor. It's a disease that affects humanity. Everybody alike. So let us be together in our strong campaign against the resurgence of HIV/AIDS. Maybe you can just go to the last component of that. That's him. Great musician. Now, can you hold it there? Hold it there, hold it there. There you are. Uganda's most famous artist to date. The most famous Ugandan artist to date. He was taken down. So, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to leave you on a sad note, but I just wanted to really drive this message home. Thank you.
Thank you, our Chief Guest of Honor. I request to back here for you, Bado, to corner launch. We'll shortly be calling out a list. Kidogo tu, wacha hii podium itolewe. In the meantime, tunaweza tuanzishe ile nyimbo ya Prime Cabinet Secretary, the same players, drag it back.
And because of time, before we sit down, we want to launch Kenya AIDS Integrated Strategic Framework for 2025-2030. And go on the other side where the launch will be happening. And on that side, we need the following kindly to be part and parcel of the launch. Karibu. Thank you. Let's go there. Then DOP, Director of Photography, kindly guide on how we can also receive live coverage from the mainstream and online media. Thank you so much. We'll be counting together a countdown from 5, and once we are reaching 1, we'll launch 2030 Kenya AIDS Integrated Strategic Framework, and we'll break into celebration of down together. Are you ready? One race! One race! One race! Thank you so much. And now we count down together from ready. Let's start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go, ladies, celebrate! Celebrate, 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 celebrate! Celebrate! Wapi makofi! Celebration time! All over! Celebrate! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Come on, you! Come on, you! Hey! 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 There's a party going on right here. Yes, let's go! A celebration. Thank you. I need now to request our chief guest to have a copy, and then we all face on that side so that we can receive copies from CEO, please. CEO, please. Thank you. To the podium, please. Give everyone a copy, please. Thank you. To Pande Juu sababu share, please. Give a copy to the team that was here. Kindly, the rest of us just remain standing. Let's continue the celebration song, DJ. Let's continue, please, in the celebration song.
Yeah, am I audible? Yes. Thanks. I just want to say that these two documents, the Kenya AIDS Integration Strategic Framework 2025 to 2030 and the Progress Report for 2025 were signed off my brother and his team at the Ministry of Health, Honorable Duale, I think yesterday, they were signed off so that they can now be released to the public. So we want to commend my good brother Honorable Duale and his team, PS, the two PSs here, and the entire medical team, or Ministry of Health team, Asante Sana, and our partners. Thank you for all this effort, because this is going to be a very valuable way forward. Asanteni Sana. Master of Ceremony.
Let's pause for a photo, please. Celebration song as we continue, please. Make sure our media team can see your dedication throughout the year. So bring your good times. And once I say hip, you say uhuru, okay? Ready? Are you ready? I'll say hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Thank you so much. And we want to go to the cake. Thank you so much. Let me remain with you, led by our chief guest for the cake. And at this juncture, welcome the PS State Department, Dr. Oluga, the PS Department for Children Welfare, Ms. Karen. Okay, sawa. Na pia kuna picha moja tu imebaki from the communication team. Kwa hivyo wapige haraka tafadhali, communication team tuharakishe. Now let's clear them for the cake. In our space, please. Please, the following join our chief guests at the cake. One is the PS State Department for the Medical Services, Dr. Ouma. PS State Department for Children Welfare, Ms. Karen Ajengo. And the CEO NSDCC, Dr. Bosire, Chair NSDC, Honorable Ahmed. And also Head of NASCOP, Dr. Mulwa. NEFAC Chair, Chilo Jecton, and then UN residents led by Mr. Atienza, and then last but not least, the AFF CEO, Mr. kenyanYoutuber. Please let me have those for the cake session only. Kindly let's keep distance so that the coverage can continue without any disturbance. And also, allow me to welcome Marianne. Allow me to welcome Marianne Wambongo, who will come and join the team representing the World SD people living with HIV network of persons also living with HIV and AIDS in Kenya network. Kwa hivyo, karibu sana, ameshafika. Thank you. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, waheshimiwa kujeni, please. Okay. Mkubwa na mborudi nyuma kidogo tu for the team. Now, allow me to hand over the mic to Marianne to say something. Kindly say something before we cut the cake.
Thank you so much. Allow me to override on the protocol already established. Bwana Prime Cabinet Secretary, just like Philly, some were our parents, our siblings, our relatives that we lost over the years. But with the from the development partners in our government, we are still existing. I am still existing because of your support. And I'm hoping that we will be able to get domestic resource financing for our peer educators who lost our jobs because of the USA stop work order, and we'll be able to have our ARVs for a long time. I want to be the Prime Cabinet Secretary in the coming years. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's cut the cake. Let's cut the cake. Let's cut the cake. How you have a song? Kayamba, please sing something.
Hewa Ambi munore makufunda ngali sewa Ambi munore makufunda ngali sewa Ambi munore makufunda ngali sewa Siria osiri Siria osiri Siria osiri Siria osiri Siria osiri Siria osiri Siria Let's sing together. One now and then. Haya, twende sasa namna hii. Bwana wa mberi ni sekoyo. Kenya kutinjura. Kenya kutinjura. Kenya kutinjura. Kenya kutinjura. Kenya kutinjura. Mwana wa mberi, mwana wa mberi ni sekoyo. Mwana wa Amerika yapa Afrika ya wakura mwana wa Amerika mwana wa Amerika leki turatuto wakura mwana wa Amerika kumwiha mwana wa Amerika aya thank you karibuni buni jamokea thank you so much. Kindly, I request the chief guest together with the thank you. Naomba tu kila mtu aketi na nimkaribishe chief guest wetu pale kwa podium for the closing national anthem. Kindly tukae chini sisi